Hey everyone, this is Avi Harkishin from AH Charts. Let's take a look at Apple for a minute. So today, they're announcing their earnings after market close today. Um, when you're looking at the charts right now, Apple has some resistance right on top here where they finally broke, not finally, but where they broke down in the past. That 225 area is currently trading at another resistance or supply zone. We keep getting rejected at this area here, right at that 212 area. Whales have targeted 215. What that means is that whales have set a target that they have hit their target, and sometimes that target becomes a resistance where you see some downside pressures start adding. Um, so to the upside that I have here is that 225, 230 area where I have for Apple because we keep getting selling off here. But on earnings, there's a pretty much earnings are wild cards, so you don't really know what exactly is going to do. But I am looking at a 225 target at Apple if it could get above this 215 area or this resistance area over here, and then maybe a retracement back down. Now, we are currently trading in that supply level at 209 to 212 area. So it's difficult to know what Apple is going to do, especially during earnings. It depends what earnings really does. So, looking at Apple right now, I am not too optimistic in terms of jumping into calls. I don't like playing earnings because those are wild cards. And because we have this supply zone right on top here, we also have this retest zone at the bottom here. So you can see Apple do something like this during earnings, go up, test that supply zone, and maybe come back down again. Don't know which one is going to do. This is what the chart is saying. In terms of a risk to reward ratio, I'm not sure if that is completely good with me, especially if I am trading options in this position. If I jump in here, and I want downside towards this 195, let's say $200 area right here. That's not a pretty good risk to reward ratio. It's not something I would want to take because that would completely burn the premium. Let's look at some of the option flow info here. So in terms of dark pool, Apple have a huge dark pool at 199 around that $200 area, and they're currently sitting at that 212 area, which we have a pretty decent big dark pool at 211 area right there. um so we're in a range of 200 and 212, pretty much that 200 212 range. That's where Apple is sitting. They have pretty much created a range for Apple, and that's where it's sitting. Let's look at the option flow info here. Well, today there's more puts than calls, which you can see right over here. So sellers are currently dominating in terms of Apple. We have the most dominant contract that's trading is that $250 call expiring in December 19th, 2025. So that's a bit that's out in terms of time. So I'm not going to be focusing much more on that, but somebody's probably positioning themselves for more upside, probably. But if you're trading this short term, you want to look at a bit more short term option flow info here. So we're going to look at the open interest. This here is expiration for tomorrow, Friday. The biggest pull you have is that 212 area. Apple is currently sitting right at that 212 area over here, as you can see. So it's sitting right at this resistance or supply zone that you're seeing in terms of the option flow as well, 212.15. So unless Apple gets above this level, you're not going to get much pull to the upside. And the big pull you have to the upside is that 220 and 225 area, which I just showed you, which is right up here, that 225 area over there that I'm talking about. Let's take a look. That's here. That's for May 9th. We're looking at the data for May 9th, actually, which is a week out. So you still have that big pull here at 212. So for tomorrow expiration, what you're looking at, you have this range of 200 big pull and puts and 215 as a big pull right over here. So you're within that range of 215 and 220. So unless you get above 220, you're not gonna really gonna make much progress in terms of hitting that 225, 230. You start getting below that 212, and you're gonna get pulled down to $200 area. That's the expiration tomorrow. So we're looking at the gamma exposure right here. Again, you're sitting on that 212.50 area, which you see Apple is currently sitting at that 212.50, 212.50. So that's a big zone in terms of gamma exposure. You're sitting right here. This is expiration, I think, for I think it's May 9th, is it? Yes, it's May 9th. So if you can get above that 212.50, you get a clear shot at getting towards that 225, which is right here. Pull towards that 225. You start falling below that 212 area. Your next target will be that 205, $200 area that we talked about. Let's take a look at tomorrow. So here you go, that range of $200 range, biggest spike, 210 and 215, then that 225. So Apple is sitting right here again at 212.50. You have big pull towards that 215 and 210. So you're literally within like a cluster of data right here you're trading. So Apple is within a range, I would say anywhere between 200 to that 215, 225 area that Apple could move. Right now, expiring tomorrow, you're within that range of 215 and 210. So you can move anywhere within that range. So this here will act as a pull to the downside. This will act as resistance to the upside at 215. Unless you get above this wall, you're not going to get towards that 225 area. Let's take a look at some other option flow info here. Apple has a bearish option flow going in, today. We have a net premium of 29.08 million. So it's bearish in terms of the flow. Looking at the live flow data, if we look at some other data flow here, as you're seeing, Apple is the calls are pretty much sold off, and you have put buyers that's currently dominating Apple at the moment. So there is, if I'm to pick a clear direction for Apple, there I don't think there's an entirely clear direction because um, when you're looking at earnings, they are a wild card and I don't like to play them. But right now, looking at the data, we are within a range of 200 to 215, 225 area. So Apple could fluctuate within that range. And if you're into calls or puts, you could watch your calls or put get destroyed at some point if it stays within that range and then just open flat tomorrow or something. Um, so right now, again, but you're having more puts dominating the calls right here. So that's what we're looking at right now in Apple. No clear direction really. So let's look at the wave count for Elliott Wave here. Elliott Wave does have wave count going up to that 225 area, which I think I posted that. Let's see, somewhere here. Let's find it. Okay, here it is. Posted that here. Does have wave count going up to that 225, then a drop back to 200. So as I said, you can see a push up to 225 and then that drop again. So not sure I want to trade this in after hours, especially on options, because that might completely get your premium destroyed. So yeah, that's my take on Apple within a range of 200 to 225. You can see price move within that range, whether or not it opens to the upside or downside. I don't know. It really depends on Apple at this point and what earnings look like. Hopefully that was helpful. If you guys have any questions, let me know. Again, today I will be closing AA charts to the public. So today would be the last day to join to get 2 weeks free, but I will be closing it to the public. The only way of getting in after that is if you probably message me or whenever I open it, the 2 weeks free to 14-day trial is going away. All right, guys, have a good day and enjoy the weekend.